Hey everybody, Phil Friedman here. It is so great to be with you because I'm here to answer the question, were there grunion on these beaches in Southern California last night? And the answer is yes. Not every beach, but several of the beaches. Terry and Gabriel Ibarra, two dear friends of mine, were in the Seal Beach area and sent me some video of the grunion coming ashore and kids really enjoying it. That is so important on so many different levels. Let me just spell out a few of those for you. Number one, predators come in on those grunion. That is super important. They are there to lay their eggs. So the sandworms come to feed on the grunion eggs, which is just all part of the food chain. Remember your high school biology? And those sandworms make excellent bait. You'll be able to dig those up now. They'll be more prevalent as we move along, and things should continue to progress here in the Southern California surf fishermen and everyone else. So I'm super excited right now. It is looking so good. Now, I'm going to give it a shot and see what happens. I'm going to be throwing a chrome crocodile lure because of the fact that there are grunion in the local waters right now. So you kind of want to match up with that. A Lucky Craft lure is going to work well. Something that swims. If you want to lure, if you fish bait, of course, using grunion is a great idea. And there's some other baits, of course, like sandworms, as I just mentioned, are so very good. And something else, I see some guys down the beach here, and I think I know these guys. They're a group of Vietnamese fishermen who are super on it. They know what they're doing, and they spend the time to get those sandworms. So just in a few more moments, I'll take you down there with me. We'll go check and see if they're getting spot fin croaker, because that would not surprise me. So once again, you know, you've got little fish swimming around in the surf, something that mimics that the fish are feeding on, that they identify as, hey, that is something that I've been eating. I'm going to eat that thing, as opposed to, what the hell is that? That's a kind of a lure. I can't even think of anything right now, but something that they just don't see. They're not used to, and they're not going to bite that. So a little Castmaster, a little crocodile, for sure a Lucky Craft or a similar type lure to that is going to work very, very well here. A little overcast, a little wind. The surf is fine. It's fishable here today. A reminder to you all that there will be another grunion run tonight in Southern California beaches. I believe it's going to be 11 o'clock this evening. It starts. I always kind of plan my situation when I go to the grunion run, like I go an hour after the projected start of it. One, because I've sat on too many cold, windy beaches for hours before they show up, so I kind of time it to that, and you can do the same. So remember, you need a California fishing license if you're going to collect grunion. You also need to use only your hands, so you can't come down here with a tractor or shovels or nets or anything like that. Only your hands. And check the Department of Fish and Wildlife, but I believe there's a new limit. I know there is this year. I think you can only have 30 grunion in your possession. So make sure you abide by that. Of course, if you just want to come down and let the kids experience these fish moving up on the beach, I mean, it's an incredible experience. You're out in nature and you get to see something that is really only occurs here in Southern California and up there in northern Baja California, down there in northern Baja California. Getting my directions all screwed up. All right, surf fishing's getting ready to improve. Grunion on the beach last night. I'm super excited. Let's take a look and see if I can't catch a few fish and go down and check on my friends who I got a feeling have a spot fin or two. We'll find out in just a moment. Hey, one term that I want to introduce you to, if you're not already familiar with it, is time of day. When captains or fishermen talk about time of day, they're talking about the time of day or night, but they still say time of day when the fish are biting. So I want to make this clear to you. When you come across an area, and let's say it is absolutely dead, don't be afraid to go back and revisit that area, because it could just be time of day. The fish were not feeding at the time that you previously fished it, and they will get on the bite again. Now, are there some times that are magical? Yeah, I mean, sunrise, sunset, those are good times regardless of the tide. And remember, the fish like moving water. So high tide, low tide, in that 4-hour window when you're fishing the surf. So 2 hours before the high to 2 hours after the high, great time to fish. Now, having said that, on the low tide, corvina fishing can be excellent, and so can halibut fishing. But remember, time of day. It is so very important, and it can work to your advantage. Don't write off an area if it didn't bite the one time you were there. Don't be afraid to go back and revisit it, especially if it looks really, really juicy to you. Hey, no fish for me so far, but I did catch something, and it's pretty darn important, and it's a good sign and signal that springtime is here, because look what I have here to show you. A sand crab. Yeah, sand crabs also starting to move onto the beaches, and they are a magnificent bait. I'm so happy to see that. That means sand crabs, sandworms, grunion, everything seems to be heading in the right direction. So just so you know, I went down and talked to my Vietnamese friends, and they had caught nothing. And also I saw my good friend Fish, and he has caught nothing. And this weather is deteriorating rapidly. So I highly recommend you do not do the grunion thing unless you can be in some protected area. But you don't want to be down here with kids or anybody else that could get washed out to sea. So weather's going to, you know what? The weather's going to spit here, and we'll keep monitoring it. But it looks like we're going to have to delay things for a day or two, as we're going to take a step backwards weather-wise and then get back to it again next week. Take care, my friends. Be safe. All right, that was fun, wasn't it? Thank you so much for being a part of it. Now, will there be grunion tonight? That's the question that looms. It's generally a very good signal when you had grunion the previous night, as we did. However, if you can see behind me, these seas are starting to build. We're going to have a high surf advisory pretty soon from a storm that is in Hawaii and generating a big swell that's going to come in here. And there is supposed to be quite a bit of wind, and already it's getting windier and the seas are building. So be very careful this evening if you decide to go. And Sunday looks like it's going to be really, really too much. Absolutely too much. Remember, people get washed off the rocks. They get washed out to sea here on the beaches in Southern California every single year. So better safe than sorry. Better safe than sorry. We do have that weather coming in, and I'm already feeling the wind here and a little bit bigger swell starting to roll up on the beach thanks to that Hawaiian storm. So be careful about that. Sunday looks like very difficult. And then by next week, that all comes down. I think by Monday, it starts to come down quite a bit. All right, things are heading in the right direction. We had some grunion. We're going to have a little step backwards now with this storm, and then we'll get back to normal, and hopefully it's going to keep on keeping on. Remember, pick up your surf fishing gear, including your Daiwa rods and reels, bait, and lures, and so much more with my friends at Big Fish Bait and Tackle right there on the corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway. For Friedman Adventures, thanks for the 2,500 subscribers. Really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe on our YouTube channel and click that bell, because when there's new content, I'll be letting you know. Take care and have a lovely finish to your weekend.